Remember the previous video that I made about the 4 steps that the mainstream media does in order to convince people of something they don't like? So the first step, if you take the war on Christmas, is to say, there is no war on Christmas, only crazy people say that there is. It's only a fringe group of lunatics who believe it to some weird conspiracy nonsense that there is a war on Christmas. After a while, after some time passes, you will see another group of articles saying, okay, there might be a little bit of a war on Christmas, but it's not a big thing. You might have a politician here or an actor there who dislike Christmas and they make it public. But overall, like, no one is taking your Christmas away. Chill out. Then you have, after a smaller period of time, other articles saying, yes, there is a war on Christmas. People want you to stop saying Christmas because it's not inclusive, and this is why it's a good thing. And then finally, the last nail in the coffin, it will be people who still insist on celebrating Christmas are the real problem. I expect those articles to appear. All jokes aside, though, as an atheist, I want to point out that Christmas as a holiday cannot be taken away from an actual Christian. Christmas is not about consumerism. It is not about going out and shopping. Although I have to say that part of the tradition is nice because sharing gifts with your family is also a good thing. And on top of that, you get to see your family because in some cases people don't really have the time because of their difficult jobs and work hours to get together and see each other. So Christmas is a great opportunity for the family to come together. But this really bothers moral busybodies. They really can't stand the fact that you have something and it goes against their values. So this is why they moan and complain, and then they go around and have actors saying, oh, you shouldn't say Christmas, you should say holiday. Oh, don't call it a Christmas tree, call it a holiday tree. You know, it's because these are very upset and jealous people because they don't have something so beautiful in their life. They don't have that celebration. But what really concerns me, and I think this should concern everyone who likes freedom, is the fact that the European Union is pushing for speech codes. The European Union is now having what is supposed to be the new English Plus variant, where you need to buy a book in order to learn the correct language and the correct phrases. And how do I say fuck you in Newspeak? Huh? Like, how do I say that? Because this is what I want to tell to these people that are pushing this nonsense. I don't know these people. They don't know me. Why are they bothering me? Is this about taxes? No, then fuck off, okay? When it comes to morality, I have mommy and daddy, I have my wife, I have my family, I have my friends. I can learn about morality without you. How much taxpayer money is being spent on this woke bullshit? How much? How much of my hard work earned in taxes went to feed these people to write gobbledygook? Seriously, like, think about it, right? Because this is what it is. It's a money laundering scheme at the end of the day. No one is going to use their book. No one cares. But what they do is they use taxpayer money that could have gone to the homeless this Christmas in order to write this garbage. And notice that it's not the minorities that complain about Christmas. Did you notice that? No, it's the anointed ones. It's like, oh yes, we need to make it more inclusive. So let me get this straight, right? If I want to move to Israel and live there, and there is a Jewish person on the street that says, hey, happy Hanukkah, is that supposed to make me feel excluded? Like, am I supposed to take that as an insult? Like, how exactly am I supposed to feel about it? Because I personally, using my own brain, would think that that person is being nice. I think that person is trying to be nice to me and is actually being inclusive. They're saying, hey, you know what? You came here, you're now part of the community. Welcome here. But no, apparently the correct way of thinking, the European way of thinking, is like, no, I'm being discriminated. If I go to Saudi Arabia to live there and someone says, hey, happy Ramadan, I need to be, oh my God. Ah! Why aren't you being inclusive? Imagine going to Saudi Arabia and you have a Muslim person coming up to you, hey, salam alaikum, brother. And you're like, oh, why aren't you inclusive? I need to get the European Union to write speech codes for you, to civilize you. It's like, seriously, isn't this bothering anyone? Because the mental process behind it is certainly bothering me. And by the way, yet again, the AOC eyes. I seen the same eyes with the Australian the Australian Prime Minister when he was also talking about some other measures that he was cooking up, and he had the same eyes. It's the eyes of the authoritarian happy to see you. Happy to see that they can inflict their will upon someone, huh? And also, look at this. Equality, equality, equality mainstreaming, equality this, equality that, equality, 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 and then you have safety. What about liberty? Can we have some freedom, por favor? Any liberty, minister? Any freedom, huh? You know what? I think freedom is Nazism now. They probably looked at the Nazis and it was Arbeit macht frei, and it's like, frei, freedom, the Nazis, there you go, see, they caught us, they caught us, all freedom-loving people, the mask has slipped. But just to show how detached they are, right, they constantly talk about multiculturalism and how they know and respect other cultures and how they're the European Union and all of us are Europeans, and they push the garbage that we need to remove gender from language. Now, removing gender from language is something you can do in the English language, where most of this shite is coming from, but good luck doing it in Spain, or good luck doing it in Romania or Italy, when literally the entire language is gendered. The table has a gender, the keyboard has a gender, my cock has a gender. Anyone that learns Spanish knows what I'm talking about. It is physically impossible to remove gender from these languages. And these chuckleheads at the European Union, they would know about this had they actually cared about different cultures. Had they actually look at, okay, let's see what languages the people in our European Union have. Let's learn some of them. But no, they don't do that. They just take stuff that's important from the United States through social media, and they like, boom, and that's it. Our job is done. Now give us money. Give us taxpayer money. Give us cash. So the Orthodox Church actually came out and spoke about this. They basically said something in the lines that Europe is Christian and they don't, because the majority of people in Europe are Christians. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, during communism, they tried to force Orthodox people into atheism. And it didn't work. In fact, after the communist regime fell, you noticed a major renaissance of Christianity in Eastern Europe simply because people were told to be atheist. And when you tell someone, like when you push your thumb on a spring and you force that spring down, the moment the thumb is removed, like the spring goes back up. It's just normal thing. But I'm looking at how much of this is literally the French Revolution bullshit. And by the way, during the French Revolution, if you don't know, a lot of innocent people were guillotined. It was called the Red Terror. And they would get guillotined for misgendering someone. Unironically, right? It's hard to believe that there was a time in human history where you could lose your life if you misgender someone. So what do I mean about misgendering people in the French Revolution? Well, you weren't supposed to call people Mr. or Mrs. You are supposed to call them citizens. And you notice the same thing happening under communist regime. You're not supposed to call people madam or sir. You're supposed to call them tovarysh or comrade. And this is exactly what the European Union wants to do. This is what Ursula von Leyen, instead of fixing the energy crisis, she's trying to fix your language. And she's talking about how, we need to stop assuming that people are Christians and we need to stop using Mr. and Mrs. We need to use words like dear colleagues or staff. It has been done in human history, lady. Like, you're not being progressive. You're not coming up with anything new. You're not reinventing the wheel. It has been done in human history. People don't like it. Just stop trying to do it. You can force people to do it. You can push your thumb on that little spring, but the moment the thumb is gone, the spring is going to jump up higher than it ever was. So what ends up happening is that you now have Eastern Europe, you have the Orthodox Church, you have other NGOs who are standing up to the European Union and they are calling them absolutely ridiculous, they're calling them dogmatic, they're pointing out that what they are doing is just congratulating themselves, but they're not fixing any problem. So now the European Union is backtracking. Now they're like, oh, no one is trying to stall Christmas. Oh, well, we're so sorry. We're pulling back. Okay, yeah, thank you. Good job. See you again next year when you're going to do this yet again. Honestly, focus on lowering the gas prices. People are freezing in Eastern Europe here. It's expensive to warm the house. Focus on fixing that and leave the garbage alone.